David's real-life encounter, a night of terror in Picton. David, a young professional from Sydney, had been eagerly anticipating a crucial job interview. But on a fateful evening, his plans went awry when his car suddenly broke down on a remote road leading into the quiet town of Picton. As darkness descended, David found himself stranded without cell reception and with no immediate way to contact anyone. With the temperature dropping and the sun fading, David decided to walk to the nearest gas station he had noticed earlier. As he approached, he saw that the small, dimly lit station was closed. The grizzled owner had already locked up and left, driving away in his old truck without acknowledging David's plight. As David approached the station, the owner had briefly rolled down his window, advising him to leave soon because they closed the station before dark. David's anxiety mounted as he realized he would have to walk back to his car in the growing darkness. The road was deserted and the only sounds were the distant chirping of insects and the rustling of leaves. David shined his flashlight on the vehicle, only to discover deep, jagged scratch marks etched into the paint. His heart raced as he heard the unsettling noise, a low, rhythmic scratching, like nails dragging against metal. David's flashlight flickered and he shone it around, trying to locate the source of the disturbance. Shadows seemed to move and twist unnaturally, and the scratching grew louder. His pulse quickened and he fumbled with his car keys, trying to unlock the door. It was stuck, as though something unseen was holding it shut. David felt an icy breeze sweep past him, carrying with it a mournful wail that seemed to echo from the nearby Red Bank Range tunnel. The tunnel, a dark, menacing void carved into the hills, seemed to pulse with an unnatural, ghostly light. David's flashlight caught a fleeting glimpse of a figure at the edge of the tunnel, an apparition of a young girl, her face pale and anguished, floating above the ground. Her eyes were hollow and her mouth opened in a silent scream. Behind her, a dark, shifting shape writhed and contorted, a shadowy entity with an ominous presence. Panic set in. David turned and ran back to his car, but the figures seemed to follow him, their clawed hands scraping at the vehicle's exterior. The air grew frigid and David's breath misted in the cold. The scratching turned into a frantic pounding, and he could hear the grotesque sounds of whatever was tormenting him. It was a truck, its headlights cutting through the darkness like a beacon. The truck driver, a burly man with a weathered face, pulled up beside David. Without a word, he gestured for David to get in. David scrambled into the cab, and the truck roared to life, speeding away from the cursed town. The truck driver, a silent guardian, dropped David off at a safe location on the outskirts of Sydney, where he could finally call for help. When David arrived in Sydney, he was visibly shaken, his face pale and his hands trembling. The night's harrowing experience had left an indelible mark on him, and the memories of the malevolent spirits and the sinister tunnel lingered in his mind. The terror he faced in Picton was not just a figment of his imagination, but a real chilling encounter with the supernatural, a reminder of the dark and eerie legends that lurk in the shadows of forgotten places.